So I hope I'm not the only one that has made a poor financial decision at some point in their life. For me, the two biggest financial mistakes I made involved vehicles. When Grace and I were newly married, and when she was pregnant with her first child, we had two vehicles that worked just fine, but one of them didn't have air conditioning. And so we thought, being in Florida, Grace should really have a good, reliable vehicle with air conditioning. It didn't matter what our financial situation was, whether we could afford a nice new vehicle with air conditioning. We just knew we needed to have one. So we went and got one, and I'm sure we got a terrible deal on it. But 2 years later, she was pregnant with our second child. And so all of a sudden, this nice, only 2-year-old four-door sedan wasn't big enough for two kids. We had to have a minivan. And that's when we made a really terrible mistake. And because we were upside down on the other car, we couldn't just trade it in for a used minivan. We had to get a new minivan. And so we were suckered into a terrible deal on this brand new minivan. And when we got home that night, I just knew we had made a terrible mistake. And the next day I called and talked to the sales lady and just tried to see if she could switch us over to something more reasonable, more affordable. And she had no desire to work with me. And why should she? She was getting a nice commission on the deal she had just made. So why would she cut her pay just because I had done something stupid? But for a long time, my anger was with her. I didn't have anything nice to say about her. I didn't think nice things about her. In my mind, it was her fault that I was stuck with this minivan. And I didn't take any personal responsibility for the decisions I'd made. But we need to own up to our mistakes. And there's many areas of life where we can make mistakes. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's in other areas. But the bottom line is that we make our own decisions. Sometimes we might feel pressure, feel coercion to make a decision, but ultimately the choice is ours. And God has blessed each one of us here with certain things. And we just need to remember that everything we have comes from God. Everything we have is really just on loan from God. And so we need to be good stewards with what He's blessed us with, but also when we make mistakes, own up to them and resolve to do better next time.